Welcome back to Talk Tensors. We love to kind of get down into the nitty-gritty of these machine learning research papers that are coming out all the time. And today we've got something pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You sent this in. It has to do with revolutionizing veterinary diagnostics, specifically for our four-legged furry friends, the canines.
Right.
And this paper is all about using AI to detect an enlarged heart, also known as cardiomegaly, in dogs.
That's right. Early detection is really important. And this paper presents a model called CDA, which is a confident pseudo-labeled diffusion augmentation. It could make diagnosis faster, more accurate, and potentially even more affordable.
So this is really cool stuff. But before we jump into the nuts and bolts of how CDA works,
Yeah.
can you give us a little bit of background on how vets traditionally diagnose cardiomegaly in dogs? Like I'm assuming, it's more than just a stethoscope.
Yeah. So, you're right. It's a combination of things: physical exams, listening to the heart, and x-rays. And when they analyze x-rays, they often use something called the vertebral heart score, or VHS, to assess the size of the heart.
VHS, so is that kind of like a rating system for how big the dog's heart is compared to its spine?
Exactly. It's a standard measurement, but it can be a bit subjective. And two different vets might look at the same x-ray and come up with slightly different scores, which can lead to inconsistencies in diagnosis. And that's where this new research comes in.
Okay. So the CDA model that we're going to be talking about aims to kind of take the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through how this model actually works? What makes it so innovative?
Absolutely. So the researchers behind CDA took a really interesting three-pronged approach. They first tackled the issue of limited data. You need tons of X-ray images to train an AI, and those aren't always easy to come by, so they use diffusion models.
Yeah.
A type of generative AI, to create synthetic X-ray images, expanding their data set and making the model more robust.
So they basically taught an AI to create more X-rays to learn from. That's pretty clever. So what's the second part of their approach?
So the second part is called pseudo-labeling with Monte Carlo dropout. Sounds complicated, but the basic idea is to use the model's own predictions to help refine its learning. So imagine the model is like a student studying for a test. The student makes some initial guesses on practice questions, but then goes back and checks their work, figuring out which answers they're most confident about, the answers that they're super sure about. Those get added to their study guide.
So the model is using its best guesses to train itself even further. That's fascinating. What about the third component of their approach?
The final piece is the neural network architecture itself. They used a model called EfficientNet B7, which is known for being both accurate and computationally efficient. They fine-tuned this model specifically for the task of predicting VHS scores from X-ray images.
Okay, so they've got this powerful model trained on this extended data set using this really clever pseudo-labeling technique. What were the results like?
The results were impressive. CDA achieved a 92.8% accuracy in classifying canine cardiomegaly on the test dataset. That means that in nearly 93 out of 100 cases, the model correctly identified whether a dog had an enlarged heart.
Wow. That's significantly better than relying solely on that traditional VHS method, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This could be huge for veterinary medicine. I'm really curious to hear about the potential real-world applications of all this. But before we jump into that, can you give us a little bit of historical context? Where does this research fit into the bigger picture of AI in veterinary medicine?
Sure. So for a long time, vets have relied on their own expertise and experience to diagnose and treat animals. But just like in human healthcare, we're starting to see a real shift towards using AI to assist with these tasks. And we've seen research using similar types of AI models, convolutional neural networks, or CNNs, to analyze X-rays and other medical images in animals.
So this research on CDA is building on that foundation and really pushing the boundaries.
Exactly, and that's what's so exciting about this paper. It's not just about detecting one specific condition. It's about demonstrating the potential of AI to transform how we approach animal healthcare as a whole.
That's a perfect segue to the part of the show where we let our imaginations run wild, our novel notions segment.
Right.
So you've had some time to ponder this research. Hit me with your novel notions.
So one thought that struck me was, what if instead of just detecting whether or not a dog has an enlarged heart, we can actually predict how the condition might progress over time?
Okay, so you're talking about going beyond just a snapshot of the heart's current size and creating a model that can predict the future of a dog's heart health.
Exactly. Imagine training an AI on a massive data set of X-rays, clinical data, maybe even genetic information. And using all of that to predict how a dog's heart might change over time, that could allow vets to create more personalized treatment plans and intervene earlier, potentially slowing down the progression of the disease.
Wow, that would be incredible. Not just detecting the problem, but getting ahead of it. So what's your second novel notion?
Well, this research focused specifically on dogs, but what if we could extend this approach to other animal species? Imagine an AI system capable of diagnosing heart conditions in cats, horses, even exotic animals.
Now you're talking. A universal heart health checker for all creatures great and small. I love it.
Yeah.
But I imagine that there would be some serious challenges in developing a model that could work across so many different species.
For sure. Each species has its own unique anatomy, and you'd need a massive and diverse data set to train such a model. But imagine the potential impact. We could revolutionize veterinary diagnostics across the board.
That's a fantastic point. Well, these novel notions certainly give us a lot to think about. This research on CDA really opens up a world of possibilities for how we can use AI to improve animal health.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes this field so exciting. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
It's amazing to think about how this research on CDA is really just one piece of a much larger puzzle.
Hmm.
AI has the potential to impact so many different aspects of veterinary medicine.
Absolutely. And it's not just about diagnostics either. Think about treatment, monitoring, even preventative care. AI could play a role in all of those areas.
It's true. The possibilities seem endless. But I imagine there are also some challenges to overcome before AI becomes truly mainstream in veterinary medicine, right?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. One of the biggest challenges is data access. You know, to train these powerful AI models, you need enormous data sets of high quality labeled data. And in the veterinary world, that data can be fragmented and difficult to come by.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not like human healthcare where electronic medical records have been, pretty standard for a while. I imagine a lot of veterinary data is still on paper or in separate systems.
Exactly. And then there are ethical considerations like data privacy and making sure that AI is being used responsibly and not, perpetuating existing biases in veterinary care.
That's a really important point. We need to make sure that as we're embracing these new technologies, we're doing it in a way that benefits both animals and the people who care for them.
I completely agree. But let's shift gears for a moment and imagine a future where those challenges have been addressed. What would a world look like where AI is fully integrated into veterinary medicine?
Okay, I'm ready to put on my futuristic thinking cap. What's your vision?
Well, I envision a world where AI is kind of seamlessly woven into every aspect of veterinary practice. Imagine a vet clinic where AI helps with everything from scheduling appointments and managing records to analyzing blood work and interpreting x-rays.
Wow, that would free up so much time for vets to really focus on what they do best interacting with animals and
Yeah.
providing that personalized care.
Exactly. AI could handle a lot of those repetitive data-heavy tasks, allowing vets to spend more time building relationships with their patients and their owners.
I can see how that would not only improve the quality of care for animals, but also reduce stress and burnout for veterinary professionals.
Absolutely. And think about the potential for personalized medicine. Just like in human healthcare, AI could help tailor treatment plans to individual animals based on their specific needs, genetic predispositions, and lifestyle factors.
That's incredible. So instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, we could have treatments that are truly customized for each animal. It'd be like having a personalized health coach for your pet.
That's a great analogy. And AI could even help with preventative care, identifying potential health risks early on, and recommending lifestyle changes or interventions that could help prevent diseases from developing in the first place.
Wow. Talk about a game changer. Shifting the focus from reactive care to proactive care, keeping animals healthier for longer.
Exactly. And that's what I find so inspiring about the potential of AI in veterinary medicine. It's about more than just treating diseases, it's about enhancing animal well-being and strengthening the bond between animals and their human companions.
I love that vision. But let's be realistic for a second. There's still a long way to go before we reach that point. What are some of the key areas where we need to focus our efforts to make this vision a reality?
I think one key area is collaboration. We need to break down the silos between veterinary hospitals, research institutions, and tech companies to create a more connected ecosystem for animal healthcare data.
So fostering data sharing and collaboration is crucial. What else?
We also need to invest in research and development, specifically in AI models that are tailored to the unique challenges of veterinary medicine. There are a lot of off-the-shelf AI tools out there, but they're not always optimized for the specific needs of animal healthcare.
Right. We need AI that's built for paws, not just for people. And of course, we need to address those ethical considerations we talked about earlier, ensuring that AI is being used responsibly and equitably.
Absolutely. We need to have those tough conversations about data privacy, algorithmic bias, and the potential unintended consequences of relying too heavily on AI.
It's a lot to grapple with, but it's essential that we do so proactively and thoughtfully.
You know, this conversation has really highlighted the fact that the future of AI in veterinary medicine isn't just about technology, it's about people.
Yeah.
It's about veterinarians, researchers, data scientists, and pet owners all working together to harness the power of AI for good.
That's such an important point. It's a collaborative effort, and the success of AI in veterinary medicine really hinges on how well we navigate those human and ethical considerations.
I couldn't agree more. It's not just about building smarter machines, it's about building a better future for animals and the people who love them.
Well said. But I think it's time we shift gears and indulge in a little bit of speculative fun.
You mean?
You know it. It's time for our novel notions segment. Are you ready to unleash some more out-of-the-box thinking?
Always. I've got a couple of ideas brewing, inspired by our conversation about the potential of AI in veterinary medicine.
Okay, hit me with your novel notions. What wild ideas have you come up with?
Well, we've talked a lot about using AI for diagnosis and treatment, but what if we could use it to create a universal translator for animals?
Whoa, hold on. You're talking about a device that could actually let us understand what animals are thinking and feeling. That sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
I know it sounds far-fetched, but hear me out. We're already using AI to decode complex patterns in human language and even translate between languages with very different structures. Imagine if we could apply those same principles to animal communication.
That's an incredible thought. Being able to understand what our pets are trying to tell us would be revolutionary. But animal communication is so complex, involving vocalizations, body language, scent. How could AI possibly make sense of all that?
Yeah, it would be a massive undertaking, for sure. It would require a huge interdisciplinary effort, bringing together experts in animal behavior, linguistics, computer science, and of course, AI. We need to collect and analyze vast amounts of data on animal vocalizations, body language, even brain activity.
It sounds like a data scientist's dream, and maybe their nightmare too. But just imagine the insights we could gain. We could learn so much about animal intelligence, their emotions, their social structures.
Exactly. It could fundamentally change our relationship with animals, leading to deeper understanding and compassion.
Wow, that's a truly mind-blowing concept. What's your second novel notion?
Okay, this one builds on our earlier discussion about personalized medicine. What if we could use AI to create custom-designed prosthetics for animals?
Ooh, I love that idea. You're talking about going beyond those, basic prosthetic legs we see for dogs and cats and creating truly personalized limbs that are tailored to an animal's unique anatomy and lifestyle.
Precisely. Imagine using 3D printing and AI algorithms to create prosthetics that are not only functional, but also comfortable, durable, and aesthetically pleasing. We could design limbs that mimic an animal's natural gait, allowing them to run, jump, and play just like they did before their injury.
That would be a game changer for so many animals who have lost limbs due to accidents or illnesses. It would give them a new lease on life. But wouldn't it be incredibly complex to design prosthetics that are so personalized?
It would be a challenge, but that's where AI comes in. AI algorithms could analyze an animal's movements, weight distribution, and even their activity levels to create a prosthetic limb that's perfectly suited to their individual needs.
So instead of just replacing a missing limb, we could potentially even enhance an animal's abilities, allowing them to do things they couldn't do before. Imagine a prosthetic fin for a dolphin that helps it swim even faster, or a prosthetic wing for a bird that allows it to soar to new heights.
Now you're thinking outside the box. And it's not just about physical prosthetics either. We could use AI to develop cognitive prosthetics devices that help animals with brain injuries or cognitive decline.
Whoa, cognitive prosthetics for animals. What would that even look like?
Well, we're already seeing research on cognitive prosthetics for humans devices that stimulate certain areas of the brain to improve memory or focus. Imagine if we could develop similar devices for animals, helping them overcome cognitive challenges and live richer, more fulfilling lives.
That's an amazing thought. It's incredible to think about all the ways AI could not only treat diseases and injuries, but also enhance animal abilities and improve their overall well-being.
Absolutely. And these novel notions are really just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much potential for AI to revolutionize how we care for animals, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Neither. These conversations always leave me feeling so inspired and hopeful about the future of AI in veterinary medicine.
Me too. It's an exciting field to be a part of, and I'm confident we'll continue to see groundbreaking advancements in the years to come.
This paper on, using AI to detect cardiomegaly in dogs, it's really got me thinking about all the incredible ways AI could be applied in the veterinary world. We've covered so much ground already, from diagnosis and treatment to, personalized medicine and even those far out novel notions we just talked about. But there's one more area I'd love to explore with you, the potential for AI to contribute to conservation efforts.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. AI for conservation is it's a rapidly growing field with immense potential. And we're seeing researchers and conservationists using AI to tackle some of the biggest challenges facing our planet, from, protecting endangered species to monitoring ecosystems and combating climate change.
That is incredibly exciting. Could you give us some specific examples
Yeah.
of how AI is being used in conservation efforts right now?
Absolutely. So one of the most promising areas is wildlife monitoring. Imagine using AI-powered cameras and sensors to track animal populations, identify individual animals, and even detect poaching activity in real time. This technology could be a game changer for park rangers and conservationists, who are often working in remote and challenging environments.
It would be like having a virtual army of wildlife protectors out there, constantly watching and gathering data that could really help us understand um, animal behavior, movement patterns, and how different species are responding to environmental changes.
Exactly. And AI can analyze that data much faster and more efficiently than humans ever could, providing valuable insights that can inform conservation strategies and help protect vulnerable species.
So it's not just about collecting more data, it's about making sense of the data we already have and using it to make smarter decisions. About conservation efforts.
Precisely. And AI can also help us predict the impact of human activities and environmental changes on ecosystems. For example, AI models can analyze deforestation rates, climate data, and other factors to predict how these changes might affect wildlife habitats and populations. And this information can then be used to develop proactive conservation interventions and mitigate potential threats.
That's incredible. So instead of just reacting to environmental damage after it's already happened, we can use AI to anticipate those threats and potentially prevent them altogether.
Exactly. And that's why I believe AI has such enormous potential in the field of conservation. It can help us shift from a reactive approach to a more proactive and preventative approach, which is essential if we want to protect biodiversity and preserve our planet for future generations.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive today into this research on AI and canine cardiomegaly detection. We've talked about everything from, the technical details of the CDA model to the broader implications of AI for veterinary medicine and even conservation.
Yeah. It's been a fascinating journey. We've explored the past, present, and potential future of AI in animal healthcare, and it's clear that this is a field with immense potential for positive impact.
I completely agree. And I think, as with any powerful technology, it's crucial that we use AI responsibly and ethically, always putting the well-being of animals at the forefront.
Absolutely. We need to be mindful of potential biases, ensure data privacy, and prioritize transparency in how AI is developed and deployed in veterinary medicine.
Well, you've given us a lot to think about today, and I have a feeling our listeners are going to be just as excited about the possibilities of AI in animal healthcare as we are.
I hope so. It's an incredibly dynamic and evolving field, and I'm confident we'll continue to see amazing advancements in the years to come.
And on that note of boundless potential, I think it's time for us to wrap up this episode of Talk Tensors. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of AI in veterinary medicine.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We encourage you to check out the show notes for a link to the research paper we discussed today, along with some other resources that might pique your interest.
And if you have any novel notions of your own, we'd love to hear them. You can connect with us on social media or drop us an email.
Until next time, keep those neurons firing. And remember, the future of AI is in our hands. Let's use it wisely to create a better world for all living beings.